There are moments in life when the heart becomes too heavy to carry its own weight, when words fail and silence takes over. In those moments, tears begin to fall, not in front of people, not for attention, but in complete secrecy. These are the tears that carry the deepest pain, the kind that cannot be explained, only felt. The first reality to understand is that your silent tears are seen by Allah. Even when the world is unaware, even when those closest to you have no idea what you are going through, nothing escapes His sight. The tears that fall in the darkness of your room, the ones you quickly wipe away so no one notices, are not invisible in the divine realm. Allah sees every drop, and not just the tear itself, but the emotion behind it, the heartbreak, the confusion, the longing, and the silent prayers hidden within it. When a person cries in secret, it often means their pain is sincere. There is no performance, no exaggeration, no desire for sympathy. It is pure and unfiltered emotion. This sincerity is what makes those tears so powerful. Allah does not look at the outward display, He looks at what is within the heart. A single tear shed in solitude out of genuine pain or longing for relief can carry more weight than countless words spoken publicly. It is in these moments that a person is closest to their true self, stripped of pretense, standing emotionally exposed before their Creator. And in that vulnerability, there is a unique form of connection, a connection that cannot be replicated in any other state. Understanding that Allah sees your silent tears brings a form of comfort that nothing else can provide. It means that you are never truly alone, even when you feel completely isolated. The loneliness you experience is not absolute, because there is always a divine presence with you. When your chest feels tight and your thoughts become overwhelming, when you feel like no one understands, Allah is fully aware, not just aware in a distant sense, but intimately aware of every detail. He knows the reason behind your tears, even if you yourself struggle to articulate it. He understands the depth of your pain in a way that no human being ever could. This awareness changes the way you view your suffering. Instead of seeing your tears as a sign of weakness, you begin to see them as a form of communication. Without speaking a single word, you are expressing your state to the one who understands you best. Your tears become a silent language, one that does not require translation. And the beauty of this is that there is no risk of being misunderstood. In human interactions, we often fear opening up because we might be judged, dismissed, or misinterpreted. But with Allah, there is none of that. Every tear is understood exactly as it is meant to be understood. There is also a profound sense of validation in knowing that your pain is seen. Many people suffer not only because of what they are going through, but because they feel unseen and unheard. They feel like their struggles do not matter, like their pain is insignificant in the eyes of others. But when you truly internalize that Allah sees your silent tears, that feeling begins to fade. Your pain matters, your struggle is acknowledged, your emotions are valid. Even if no one else recognizes what you are enduring, the one who created you does. At the same time, this understanding invites a deeper level of trust. If Allah sees your tears, then it also means He is aware of your needs. He knows what is breaking you, what is weighing you down, and what you are hoping for. This awareness is not passive, it is accompanied by wisdom and mercy. Sometimes the relief you seek does not come immediately, and that can be difficult to accept. But knowing that Allah sees your tears helps you trust that there is a purpose behind the delay. It reminds you that your pain is not being ignored, but rather it is part of a process that is unfolding in a way you may not yet understand. Moving to the second point, no pain goes unnoticed in the unseen. This expands the idea beyond just tears and touches every aspect of your internal struggle. There are pains that never manifest outwardly. Worries you keep to yourself, fears you hide, disappointments you quietly carry. These are the burdens that often feel the heaviest precisely because they are not shared. But in the unseen realm, nothing is overlooked. Every ounce of pain, no matter how small it may seem, is accounted for. This concept shifts your perspective on hardship. Instead of feeling like your struggles are disappearing into nothingness, you begin to realize that they are being recorded, acknowledged, and responded to in ways that are not always visible. The unseen is a realm of divine justice and mercy where nothing is lost. Even the smallest act of patience, the quietest moment of endurance holds value. When you choose to remain strong despite your pain, when you resist the urge to break in front of others and instead turn inward, that strength does not go unnoticed. One of the most challenging aspects of hidden pain is the lack of external validation. When people see your struggles, they may offer comfort, support, or recognition. But when your pain is hidden, you may feel like you are carrying it alone, without acknowledgement. This is where the understanding of the unseen becomes crucial. You are not carrying it alone. There is a divine awareness that surpasses any human recognition. And unlike human validation, which can be inconsistent and limited, divine acknowledgement is perfect and complete. There is also a deeper wisdom behind why some pain remains unseen by others. Not all struggles are meant to be public. Some are meant to refine you in private, to strengthen your relationship with Allah without external influence. When your pain is known only to Him, your reliance becomes more focused, more sincere. You are not turning to people for comfort. You are turning directly to your Creator. This creates a bond that is deeply personal and incredibly powerful. At times, it may feel unfair that your pain is hidden, especially when others seem to receive support and understanding. But this hiddenness can actually be a form of protection. It shields your vulnerability from those who might not handle it with care. It preserves the purity of your struggle, keeping it free from judgment, comparison, or misunderstanding. And most importantly, it ensures that your reward is tied directly to Allah, not to the reactions of people. When you reflect on the idea that no pain goes unnoticed in the unseen, it also brings a sense of accountability and hope. Accountability, because it reminds you that every reaction, every moment of patience or impatience is being observed. And hope, because it assures you that your suffering is not meaningless. There is a purpose, a wisdom, and ultimately, a form of compensation that may not be immediate, but is guaranteed. This understanding encourages you to handle your pain with a different mindset. Instead of letting it consume you, you begin to see it as something that can elevate you. Every moment of endurance becomes an opportunity for growth. Every tear becomes a means of drawing closer to Allah. And every hidden struggle becomes a source of unseen reward. Over time, this perspective transforms the way you experience hardship. The pain may still be there, the tears may still fall, but there is a layer of peace that begins to develop beneath it all. A quiet assurance that you are seen, that you are heard, and that nothing you are going through is in vain. There are times when the heart carries emotions so deep and complex that words simply cannot contain them. You may sit in silence trying to make sense of what you feel, but nothing seems to come out in a clear or structured way. This is where the reality becomes comforting. Allah hears what you cannot say aloud. Human language is limited, and often your emotions go far beyond what words can express. You might not know how to explain your sadness, your fear, or even your hope. Sometimes you are confused about your own feelings, unable to describe them even to yourself. Yet none of this creates a barrier between you and Allah. He does not require perfectly formed sentences or eloquent expressions. He understands the language of your heart, the emotions that exist before they are ever shaped into words. This is what makes your connection with Allah so unique and deeply personal. In your interactions with people, there is always a need to explain yourself. You have to find the right words, the right tone. And even then, there is no guarantee that you will be understood. Miscommunication is common, and many times people walk away feeling even more isolated because their attempt to express themselves failed. But with Allah, there is no such fear. You do not have to rehearse what you want to say. You do not have to organize your thoughts or worry about how you sound. Wow! Even if all you have is a heavy heart and silent tears, that is enough. Allah hears what remains unspoken, what lingers in your chest, what weighs on your soul. There is something incredibly relieving about knowing that you are understood without explanation. It removes the pressure of having to figure it all out before turning to Allah. You can come to Him exactly as you are, confused, broken, overwhelmed, and still be fully heard. This is especially important during moments of emotional chaos, when your thoughts are scattered and your feelings seem contradictory. You may feel sadness mixed with anger, hope mixed with fear, and you might not know how to untangle it all. But Allah does not need you to untangle it. He already knows. He hears the quiet cries within you, the ones that never reach your lips. This understanding also reshapes the way you make dua. Often people hesitate to pray because they feel they do not know what to say, or they think their words are not good enough. They may compare themselves to others who seem more articulate or more spiritually expressive. But the truth is, the most sincere doer is not necessarily the most eloquent one. It is the one that comes straight from the heart, even if it is messy, incomplete, or silent. Sometimes your dua is simply a tear, a sigh, or a moment of stillness where your heart turns toward Allah. And in that moment, you are being heard more clearly than you realize. Knowing that Allah hears what you cannot say aloud also brings comfort during times when you feel unable to talk to anyone. There are situations where you cannot share your struggles with people, either because you fear judgment, or because you do not want to burden others, or simply because you know they would not understand. In those moments, it is easy to feel trapped within your own emotions. But this awareness reminds you that you are never truly trapped. There is always a way to release what you are carrying, even if it is not through spoken words. Turning to Allah becomes a safe outlet, a place where you can let your guard down completely. It also deepens your sense of trust. When you believe that Allah hears what you cannot say, you begin to rely on Him in a more profound way. You stop depending solely on your ability to articulate your needs and start trusting that your unspoken feelings are already known. This trust allows you to be more authentic in your relationship with Him. You no longer feel the need to present a composed or a perfect version of yourself. Instead, you come as you are, with all your imperfections and uncertainties, knowing that none of it distances you from His understanding. Alongside this, there is another powerful truth. Your broken heart is a form of dua. When your heart breaks, it often feels like something has been taken from you. Your peace, your stability, your sense of control. But within that brokenness lies a hidden connection to Allah. A broken heart is not empty. It is filled with emotion, longing, and a deep need for relief. All of these elements naturally turn a person toward their Creator, even if they do not consciously realize it. The very state of being broken becomes a silent call for help, a natural form of supplication. Dua is not limited to spoken words or raised hands. It is any turning of the heart toward Allah, any moment where you seek His help, His comfort, or His guidance. When your heart is broken, it is already in a state of turning. You may not be able to form a specific request, but your need is clear. Your pain itself is asking for healing. Your confusion is asking for clarity. Your weakness is asking for strength. And Allah responds to all of this, even if it is not expressed in a traditional way. There is a certain purity in a broken heart that makes it especially receptive to divine mercy. When you are broken, your defenses are down. The barriers of pride, ego, and self-sufficiency begin to crumble. You become more aware of your dependence on Allah, more open to seeking His help. This vulnerability is not a flaw, it is a doorway. It allows you to connect with Allah on a deeper level, one that is not filtered through the illusion of control or independence. In many ways, a broken heart brings you closer to your true self. It strips away distractions and forces you to confront what really matters. In that state, your relationship with Allah can become more sincere and more focused. You are not turning to Him out of routine or obligation, but out of genuine need. And this sincerity is what makes your ida of the heart so powerful. It is not rehearsed or mechanical. It is real, raw, and deeply felt. There is also a comforting realization that comes with this. You do not have to wait until you feel better to turn to Allah. Sometimes people think they need to fix themselves first, to become emotionally stable or spiritually strong before they can make meaningful dua. But the truth is the opposite. Your brokenness is not a barrier. It is the very thing that draws you closer. Your heart does not need to be whole to be accepted. In fact, it is often in its broken state that it is most sincere. When you see your broken heart as a form of dua, it changes the way you view your pain. Instead of seeing it as something purely negative, you begin to recognize its spiritual value. This does not mean the pain disappears or becomes easy, but it gains meaning. It becomes part of your journey toward Allah, a means of strengthening your connection with Him. Every moment of heartbreak becomes an opportunity to turn inward, to seek comfort from the one who understands you completely. Over time, this perspective can bring a quiet sense of peace, even in the midst of pain. You begin to feel that your suffering is not wasted, that it is serving a purpose beyond what you can see. Your tears, your silence, your brokenness, all of it is part of a conversation with Allah. A conversation that does not rely on words, but on sincerity, vulnerability, and trust. There is a unique depth to moments when a person cries alone, away from the eyes of others, in a space where there is no need to pretend or hide. In those private moments, something profound begins to develop within the soul. Crying alone builds a stronger connection with Allah because it strips away every layer of performance and leaves only sincerity behind. When no one else is present, there is no pressure to appear strong, no need to explain your emotions, and no desire to gain sympathy. It is just you, your pain, and your Creator. That simplicity creates a direct and unfiltered bond, one that is not influenced by the expectations or perceptions of people. In public settings, emotions are often controlled or masked. People hold back tears, adjust their expressions, or try to maintain a certain image. Even when they do express their feelings, there can be an underlying awareness of how they are being perceived. But when you are alone, that awareness disappears. You are free to feel everything as it is, without editing or holding back. This raw honesty is what strengthens your connection with Allah. You are not coming to Him with a polished version of yourself. You are coming exactly as you are, in your most vulnerable state. And it is in that vulnerability that true closeness is formed. When a person turns to Allah during these private moments, it reflects a deep level of trust. It shows that even when no one else is there to listen or comfort, they still believe that Allah is present and attentive. This kind of faith is not dependent on external support. It is rooted in an internal certainty that Allah is always near. Every tear shed in solitude becomes a testament to that belief. It is as if the heart is saying, even if no one else understands me, I know that you do. That quiet reliance builds a relationship that is both strong and deeply personal. There is also a sense of exclusivity in these moments. Your private tears are not shared with the world. They are shared only with Allah. This makes your connection feel more intimate, more special. It becomes something that belongs only to you and your Creator. In a world where so much is exposed and shared, having something so personal and sacred creates a sense of spiritual depth. It reminds you that your relationship with Allah is not defined by what others see, but by what happens in the unseen moments of your life. Over time, these moments of private crying begin to shape your heart in subtle but powerful ways. They soften it, making it more receptive to guidance and more aware of its dependence on Allah. They also build resilience. Each time you go through pain and turn to Allah instead of turning away, you strengthen your ability to cope with future hardships. You begin to develop a quiet strength, one that does not rely on external validation but on your connection with Allah. This strength is not loud or visible, but it is deeply rooted and enduring. Another important aspect of crying alone is that it often leads to reflection. When you are by yourself, you are more likely to think deeply about your situation, your choices, and your relationship with Allah. This reflection can bring clarity, helping you understand not only your pain, but also its purpose. It creates space for growth, allowing you to learn from your experiences and come out stronger. And because this process happens in the presence of Allah, it becomes a form of spiritual development, not just emotional release. At the same time, the act of crying alone removes the fear of judgment. Many people hesitate to open up to others because they are afraid of being misunderstood, criticized, or dismissed. But with Allah, there is no such fear. You can express everything freely without worrying about how it will be received. This freedom encourages honesty, and honesty deepens your connection. The more genuine you are in your private moments with Allah, the stronger your relationship with Him becomes. Connected to this is another powerful truth. The night witnesses your sincerity. There is something inherently special about the night, especially the quiet hours when the world is asleep and distractions are minimal. During this time, your emotions often become more intense and your thoughts more focused. It is in these moments that many people find themselves turning to Allah, seeking comfort, guidance, or simply a sense of peace. The stillness of the night creates an environment where sincerity can flourish. In the darkness, there is no audience, no noise, no interruptions. It is just you and your thoughts. This solitude allows your heart to open up in a way that is often not possible during the day. The busyness of life, the constant interactions, and the demands of daily responsibilities can make it difficult to connect deeply with your emotions. But at night, all of that fades away. You are left with your true feelings, and that creates an opportunity for a more sincere connection with Allah. The idea that the night witnesses your sincerity is deeply comforting. It suggests that these moments are not lost or forgotten. The tears you shed, the prayers you whisper, the thoughts you reflect on, all of it is part of a sacred experience that is recognized and valued. Even though no human being may ever know what you went through in those hours, it is not hidden in the divine sense. It is seen, it is heard, and it is remembered. There is also a spiritual significance to turning to Allah at night. It requires effort and intention. Choosing to wake up or stay awake to connect with Allah, especially when you are tired or emotionally drained, reflects a deep level of sincerity. It shows that your desire for closeness with Allah is stronger than your desire for comfort or rest. This kind of dedication is not easy, and that is precisely why it holds so much value. It is a quiet sacrifice, one that strengthens your faith and deepens your connection. The night also provides a sense of privacy that enhances sincerity. During the day, even acts of worship can sometimes be influenced by the presence of others. There may be a subconscious awareness of being seen, which can affect the way a person expresses themselves. But at night, that influence is removed. Your actions are purely for Allah, free from any external pressure or expectation. This purity makes your connection more genuine and more meaningful. In these quiet hours, your heart often feels more open and more receptive. The barriers that you may have built during the day begin to lower, allowing you to feel more deeply and connect more sincerely. This can lead to moments of profound clarity, where you begin to understand your situation in a new way. It can also bring a sense of peace, even if your circumstances have not changed. Just knowing that you have turned to Allah, that you have expressed your feelings and sought His help, can be incredibly comforting. Over time, these nightly moments can become a source of strength and stability. They create a routine of turning to Allah, a habit of seeking His presence in times of need. This consistency builds a strong foundation for your faith, making it easier to cope with challenges and maintain a sense of balance in your life. You begin to rely on these moments as a way to recharge, to release your emotions, and to reconnect with what truly matters. The night, in its silence and stillness, becomes a witness to your most sincere self. It holds your tears, your prayers, your hopes, and your fears. And within that quiet space, your connection with Allah continues to grow, becoming stronger, deeper, and more meaningful with every passing moment.